Hi, this is Lou Covey with New Tech Press and Footwasher Media, and we're doing our podcast today as the second part of our series on LinkedIn and where it's going and whether it's valuable or not. And a couple of weeks ago, I did a post on this subject, talked about how the problems I'm seeing with it, but the fact is I do use LinkedIn quite a bit. I get quite a bit of business from it, so I like it. And so that was the opinion that I put out. But I also said I wanted to talk to some people who do use LinkedIn who might have a different opinion of it than me. And one of the people that responded, and the one that I really wanted to talk to because I really like her, is my friend and business associate, Ida Rose Sylvester of Silicon Valley Link. Ida Rose is a brilliant businesswoman. I've known her for years. And we've been having some discussions on this, and she decided she wanted to volunteer. So, Ida Rose, thank you for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure, Lou. Always a pleasure to speak with you.
Okay. So, I want to start off with a comment that you made to me in an email that said that 90% of what you get out of LinkedIn is spam. Okay. And I have heard that from other people, and I want to figure out how that happens with you. So, let me ask you a few questions.
Okay. Sure.
Number one, what level in LinkedIn are you? Are you using the free system, or are you paying for any of it?
Actually, I've been a premium member for several years now.
For how many years?
Several.
Okay.
Actually, when they first started offering paid membership, I signed up for a while. It seemed to have the promise of giving access to more people, easier ways to reach out to people with in-mail and without in-mail. So it always seems like a good idea. Now it also seems to show who's serious on LinkedIn and who's not. Because even if you don't use the feature, anyone who has a little special premium next to their name.
So how many connections do you have now?
Around 3,000.
Okay. And also, how many groups do you belong to?
Oh, I keep being told every time I try to join a new group that I'm near the limit. So I guess the limit is around 50.
Okay.
To be honest, I joined a lot of groups with high hopes at one point that I found fairly mixed success with using those, and every so often I go in and clean up. But I find that more people in the groups I'm most interested in take that kind of social networking aspect and take it to places like Facebook or even old-fashioned mailing lists. So for the groups that most interest me, I don't find them having the most connection on LinkedIn. And I know other people have different experiences, but for me, it hasn't been working out as I thought it would.
Yeah. Now let's go to your comment about the spam. Okay. Were you being accurate or effusive when you said 90% of it is spam?
Well, I was probably being inaccurate then if you look at the email requests I get and the linking requests that I get. It's probably higher than 90% at this point.
Wow.
As spam, yes. I am not a lion. I'm not even sure if lions still exist as a concept. But I have a pretty open profile, and I do encourage people to contact me if I can be of any help for them. But what I've noticed in the last, I would say all of 2015, the proliferation of what look like very false profiles. People writing profiles that look pretty accurate, so not the old-fashioned false profiles that you could tell right away were quite suspicious. Mm-hmm. But now people that have actual company names that look like they have a job history inside of a company, that even write their skill sets and what they're looking for on LinkedIn and write actual prose around what they're doing on LinkedIn, they turn out they're ripping off other people's profiles or making up things completely. And I've made a mistake early this year of connecting to a few of these people that looked legit, especially if people I knew had already connected to them.
Okay.
Only to be bombarded with spam email and spam requests and to find out that they were actually fake profiles.
Yeah, and I find the same thing, but I'm not finding it on the level that you are. But I also I actually go in about once every 2 weeks and clean out my groups, because it's fairly obvious to me, and quite often they will show you what group these people come from. And when I get too many people from one group that's soliciting me for business, and there's no other content in that group, then I dump it right away. I've gone up to my limit a couple of times, but right now I keep my groups at around 20 because I'm only looking for groups that actually provide real content. And when I find somebody that produces good content, those are the people that I request to make connections to. But it sounds like you have been acting like an open networker. And just for people who don't understand what LION is, stands for LinkedIn Open Networker. And that means you accept anything from any connection from anybody who asks. But that has...
I know that.
Yeah. And that's...
I've never done that.
Yeah, but that's... I was, I had heard about it, and I've called myself an open networker for some time because I do pretty much accept anything on LinkedIn, except for people that are absolutely, obviously not something I'd want to talk to. Mostly people from SEO companies.
There's been quite a number of those lately, and some include fake profiles from fake SEO companies. So.
Yeah. And you can also tell when somebody is 21 years old and had been a former cocktail waitress, and she's now the vice president of marketing for a company, that it's not really quite true. But that might be a hint to people when you get requests to actually take a look at who those people are and spend a little bit of time determining whether you want to connect to them. One of the things I find that's the best way to do it is that I'm pretty prolific in how I develop content. And so I can actually see, because of my premium connection, which people are actually looking at me. And I found that if they take a look at my profile after reading my content, that I can make a free connection to them or a request to connect, which I think that's how I've actually grown my network. I take that back. Maybe I don't accept anybody, but I do reach out to a lot of people and have connected to them that way. And that might be...
I think that'll be something else.
Yeah?
I think lions have the philosophy that they accept anybody without even thinking about it. With the idea that I never know when you might be able to help me, but I don't know how that works. I know a few lions, and every time I've asked them to help me connect with somebody in their network, nothing ever comes of it because they don't know or have any context around the people that they're connect to in their network.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, maybe I've never actually come across a true lion.
I will introduce you to a true lion.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to. But I mean, because that's the whole reason that I will connect to somebody, is that they might have connections to someone else. Well, no, I take that back, because I connect to people that I find interesting, and that's the thing I like about LinkedIn most of all. I think the real plus for LinkedIn right now is there is no political discussion on LinkedIn, not that I can find.
Not yet.
Yeah. Well,
I think if LinkedIn. Yeah, I know that you use content and you share content on LinkedIn, probably more than anyone I know. But for me, I'm finding this, I don't call it spam, but I'm finding that there's way too much content listing up my homepage on LinkedIn. Most of it flies by faster than I can ever read it. So I am a little bit concerned about what might start showing up on that homepage and how much content might come my way that perhaps I don't want to hear at all. I'm already concerned that I'm seeing what I want.
Okay.
Every network starts out with the best intentions.
Okay, well,
so I'm a little concerned where LinkedIn may go. I don't think LinkedIn has really grown its feature set, especially for us premium users who are paying a lot of money, and most of us are not actually seeing a lot of return. So LinkedIn is kind of dying off in terms of importance. I use it to manage my connections, but I don't spend any more time on there than I need to. I also consider it an online resume, so I try to keep it up to date. and point people that way who are looking to get some more information about me. But that makes it pretty static.
Yeah.
So it's an online Rolodex and an online resume, and that's pretty boring. But for me, for a lot of the work I'm doing now, I'm honestly finding Facebook to be the most interesting place to find people, to talk to people, to get content from people.
Yeah, I think a basic thing I've learned is that there is no one social platform that's better than the rest of them, but there are some that we get used to better. And I think
That's true.
And I think Facebook has been, yeah, even though people complain about all the changes they make without asking anybody's opinion, that's actually made them a stronger platform than LinkedIn. I mean, I like LinkedIn a great deal, and I use it quite a bit, but Facebook is still at a core for me, and I think that explains why their following is so high. I think they're almost at 1.5 billion people now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, if you can't find somebody on Facebook, you'll never find them anywhere, I suspect.
Yeah, that's
which is part of the power of that network.
Yeah, and I also find that people that avoid doing anything on Facebook are minimally involved with LinkedIn. They're just not people.
They tend to, they tend to be anti-social network.
Yeah.
Fear of putting themselves out there and all these other things you hear them say.
All right. Well, okay, folks, that's one woman's opinion of LinkedIn, and I think she's got it pretty accurately. So, Ida Rose, thank you for your time, and we'll see you around the coffee mug someday.
Excellent. Take care.
Bye-bye.